I'm here with senior member of the choir, Joel Font, my roommate and singing extraordinaire. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Font.
It's good to be here, Blake.
Could you tell me a little bit about when you started singing?
I think I started singing when I was like 6 or 7, and I was singing in our church choir back home.
Right, and you were homeschooled, that's correct. How does that compare coming to Emory Henry after being homeschooled your entire life?
The one thing that homeschooling really taught me to do was to want to learn for myself. So often I had to go out and look for ways to learn because it wasn't given to me like like I have been here at school. And that's really helped in choir because I've really gone out and looked for ways to learn the music better too.
Right, and speaking of give and take, Emily's been talking about some socks. Did you? Where did your socks come from?
I did not have brown socks.
Are those my socks?
These are your socks.
Are those my shoes?
These are your shoes too.
Well, they're good-looking shoes.
They are good-looking shoes.
Those are some fine-looking socks. Look, can we get a close-up of that? I'm just kidding. You recently were involved with a UVA study about kids that were homeschooled. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was really strange. A lady contacted me on Facebook and said she wanted to do a study on homeschooled students, and I think she had quite a few female students, but she didn't have too many males. Her name was Crystal Goodman, and she's doing a study on learning outcomes as students come from homeschooling and then come into a university setting. I thought it was very interesting. I was very glad I got to participate, and I got $5.
All right, can't turn that down.
No.
Especially when I'm trying to bum money from you. Right?
Maybe.
What did she find in her study? Have you heard anything back from her?
I haven't heard back from her. I've been checking up now and then, not very often, but I think it's her doctoral thesis, so she may not finish till the end of the school year.
Right. Moving back to the Emory Henry Choir, what songs are you all currently working on?
Well, we're singing a lot of different anthems, and since we're going over to Europe, I think we're singing different languages of music too. So we have 4 Russian pieces that we all enjoy the Russian a lot. It's very moving music. And then we are going to Austria and Germany, so we're singing 2 German pieces. Those are really exciting too. The German pieces are Singet den Herrn and Jachset den Herrn. Lots of Herrn. I think that word means God in German. And usually, I mean, all these anthems are singing mostly in the Christian tradition. And then in we sing English songs in the American tradition. Those are usually gospel music, and people really like those.
As a choir, what's the toughest struggle about trying to learn to sing together?
I think one of the toughest struggles is just trying to understand how much other people struggle putting the time into it. Because I think sometimes each member of the choir feels like they're putting so much time into this because choir comes at the worst times possible. I mean, you'll have a concert right before a test or something, and you won't have time to study like you should. But I think some of that is, we're all already stressed because of that, and then we get shoved in a room, and sometimes we feel like we aren't working hard, or the other person isn't working hard, and it's frustrating.
Right. Could you talk a little bit about the trip coming up this summer?
The trip coming up this summer, we leave the day after graduation. We get on an airplane, and we fly to Austria, and we spend 10 days singing and sightseeing and going to museums and eating good food and, well, having fun, you know.
Right. Oh, yeah. Having a good time.
Probably.
You started choir. I was involved in choir a little bit freshman year. What's been the toughest part of the transition moving from Dr. Davis and moving into Professor Seek's styles? Are there conflicting ideas going on there?
There's a lot of different ideas. Dr. Seek tends to be a more technically demanding conductor, I think. But Dr. Davis, on the other hand, wanted a much fuller sound than Dr. Seek. So there's a lot of style differences there because I think Dr. Davis taught his students to sing loud and proud, kind of, if you want to put it that way.
Right.
Whereas Dr. Seek teaches his students to be careful and to try and follow the music maybe a little more carefully.
Right.
Stuff
and
like that.
I will be talking today with Dr. Davis's father on the show. I appreciate you coming in today, Joel.
It's good to see you,
It's a
Blake.
pleasure. I know that you have to stare at me all the time because we're roommates.
It happens. We survive.
I'm glad you came in today.